Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back to Teatime Tales. It's been a while. It's been about 4 or 5 months since my last stream, I think. In various places I explained why basically summer was a busy time for me as far as work goes, so it was hard to find time to do these. But I was always planning to bring it back, and now things are settling down a bit, hopefully, so I can get this going on a more regular, or at least semi-regular basis. So yeah, thanks for joining me. If this is your first time, Teatime Tales is a series where I pull out a deck that I'm currently experimenting with and tinkering with, run it against a quest, see how it does, and then at the end talk about what changes I would want to make to it, or if it seems ready to go. So the goal of this is kind of a test lab for experimental or new decks, rather than like fully baked decks that I know for sure are ready to go, or like old standby decks that I always use. So I try to get these done during the space of a lunch break. So I always reserve the right to scoop if things are going poorly, so that I can get at least one good run in without things just going terribly. And of course, always the caveat that with online streaming and playing this game, that there will probably be mistakes along the way. So if you're in the Twitch chat right now, feel free to point those out to me. Those are always helpful. Let's see, what else? I think that's about it. Oh, what tea I'm drinking today. So nothing too fancy. I'm just drinking a simple pure leaf chai tea. Chai is one of my favorites. So yeah, keeping it simple for the first stream back. It's good to be back. A lot has happened since last time I talked to you all. We got a new deluxe box, Wilds of Ravanian, which is fantastic, especially the player cards. We're going to see one of the quests today and a few of the player cards. We got Withered Heath, the first adventure pack in the Ravanian cycle. So maybe I'll be playing that quest soon, although I've heard on the stream, that is, although I've heard that it can run a little long. So we'll see if that makes it to Teatime Tales. What else? And the special collector's edition, which includes both the digital game and the limited edition starters, dropping next week. So I look forward to both of those. And as far as the digital game goes, I mentioned this before. And good timing. Ransom Man in the chat is asking if I have any plans for the DCG, or if this channel is pretty much physical game only. So this channel will be mostly physical game, but I do plan on doing some streaming of the digital game. I'm not sure how much it will be, mostly because I don't know how much I'm gonna enjoy that the game itself and streaming it. Not saying I won't, I just literally don't know, because I've only had one game actually playing it as a demo at Gen Con. So if it's something that I like streaming, then you can expect more of it, and if it's something that I don't enjoy streaming as much, then you'll see less of it. That's probably the best answer that I can give, other than to say the channel will still be like majority, 70% physical game, I imagine. Okay, yeah, so, I mean, at least, I'll say that probably next week, because the game is dropping, and it'll be the hot thing, that I'll probably do at least one digital stream next week. You can look for that. Yeah. Once I get my hands on it and get accustomed to the deck building and all that. Alright, so let's get to the actual game so I can get through this. Yeah, okay, Targ, with the Weather Hills Whiffman is in my hand, and I have a long history of whiffing on any fetch effects on this series, so hopefully that won't continue. Okay, so what's the deck I'm playing? So this deck is, of course, featuring our newest hero, Grimbeorn, who everyone is gaga over for good reason, because he's amazing. When he defends, you can pay a resource from his pool, and then he basically gets to attack back. So it's kind of like redding without redding. It's definitely some action advantage, and he lowers the enemy's defense by 2 while he does it, effectively making him a 5. Although that is not quite equivalent. You know, if you have an enemy with 4 hit points, then you're going to lower its defense by 1 in this case, because it only has 1 defense. But obviously you can only do as much attack as Grimbeorn has, which is 3. So kind of like having 5 attack, but not quite in all cases. But still really useful having that extra clause. So basically he's a one-man combat machine. So that leaves you open to have the other 2 heroes focusing on basically questing. And my original version of this deck, I was experimenting with spirit heroes. I had Arwen and Galadriel going and a few other combinations. But eventually I was just thinking, you know, like, I play Spirit and Tactics so much in solo. Like, that is by far my #1 sphere combination in solo, to the point where I'm like, this is almost like a crutch where you just keep going to it, back to the well. I know we all have those kind of combinations, whether spheres or heroes, that we just love using so much that it just becomes the default. So I just said to myself I should do something different, so I decided to bring in Leadership Sphere instead. Just thinking about how I haven't really played that much Leadership lately, and the one thing about Grimbeorn deck is because he does spend resources to use his ability, it can be a bit resource intensive, so I said why not bring in the Resource Sphere. So first pick of hero was easy, Sam, because he has 3 will. And since Grimbeorn's not going to be doing any questing with his 0 will, and because he needs to handle combat, I needed someone who could do that. When the new Gildor Inglorian Leadership hero drops next week with the Collector's Edition, I might actually replace Sam in this deck with him. Actually, for sure, I probably will, because he is also low threat. He has 3 willpower, but he can spend 1 to draw a card. And, you know, that's an ability that I will actually use, whereas in this deck, because I'm starting not too high threat, 28 threat only, but the threat will tend to ramp up, and I don't really have any means to drop it, other than Gandalf in this deck, but I also often use his ability for other things. Basically, Sam's ability won't go off that often, where I'm engaging an enemy with a higher engagement cost than my threat, so that's why I would replace him. But for now, he's fine, and I think it works fine with him either way, with either him or Gildor. My 3rd hero is Balin. I needed another low threat hero. I needed another hero with, you know, solid willpower. There's not too many good options in Leadership for high willpower. And the thing I really love about Balin is, well, 2 things. One is that he can spend a resource to cancel a shadow and draw another one. So Grimbeorn can become a huge defender and attacker, but, you know, there's always the risk that shadow effects can screw over whatever defending you're doing. So Balin is kind of that escape valve, especially in the early game before things are set up. And the other thing about Balin is he gives access to King Under the Mountain. So I'm going to have a bunch of resources going on, but I need some card draw. So I have King Under the Mountain, and I also have Old Standby Sneak Attack Gandalf. I have the Weatherhill's Watchman, or Weatherhill's Whiffman, as Oketar called him, who can fetch signals. So the main way of boosting Grimbeorn in this deck is I have 3 copies of Dunedain Mark, 3 copies of Dunedain Warning. To boost them up, I have some Hauberks of Mail, so he gets to about 6 or 7 defense usually, which is, you know, I say that casually, but that's pretty immense. So I have a variety of fetch effects. I have card draw. So in a scenario that lasts kind of, you know, fairly a moderate amount of rounds, or a fairly long game, I usually get close to drawing through my deck. So that's pretty good card draw for Leadership. So strategy for the deck, yeah, Grimbeorn handles combat. Get out Steward of Gondor as early as you can, a mulligan for it. I happen to draw to my opening hand here, which is fortunate. If you don't, then you really want to find something like King Under the Mountain or Sneak Attack Gandalf, so you can hurriedly search for Steward. Steward is a key part of this deck just because it does rely on a lot of the high cost allies, like our friend Faramir here. Let's see. Yeah, that's about it. I mean, beyond Grimbeorn, it's fairly straightforward. I think the goal is to build up Grimbeorn so you can handle everything, spit out the allies as quickly as you can. That's about it. Let's see how it goes. I'm going to be playing against Lost in Mirkwood today, which is the second in the Wilds Ravanian box. So we start out with Ambushed at Night. And the reason I picked this quest is not necessarily saying anything about it as a testing quest. I think it's decent for that purpose. I haven't really decided. But just because I wanted to play a new quest on stream. Nothing too cerebral about that decision other than just wanting to play a new quest. So I've taken control of Haldan, our woodman friend. I've added a forest spider to the staging area, and we should be ready to go. If you haven't played this quest or you're a bit rusty, instead of making regular progress, basically excess progress lets you discard cards from the top of the encounter deck, and you're looking for objective locations that you can travel to, and that's how you're going to be able to advance, is traveling to those locations. Alright, let's get started. Ransom Man asks, how many times did you restart the stream until you got such a great opening hand? I get why you ask, because in some ways this is kind of an ideal hand. I mean, it really is. You have Steward, you have card draw King Under the Mountain, you have a early warning for Grimbeorn, you have Farmir, who is key to get questing going in the middle to late game. All of that is very important. The answer is none. I actually got this first try. In my testing of this deck and against this quest, I had fairly good luck in drawing Steward early, but there were a few games where I had to make do, and those games, of course, went a bit rougher. Alright, let's get started before I blab on for too long. Okay, we got Gandalf, but no sneak attack yet, so we're probably not going to be playing him yet. Not anytime soon. So we're looking at 2 in the staging area. We don't have to quest too hard, especially because we're not trying to make actual progress. We're just trying to find this objective locations. So first off, let's get Steward out and put it on Balin. Now, I do have Song of Kings in this deck that goes on Grimbeorn, so he can actually pay for both. If you get that combo early, then you can potentially put Steward on him so he can pay for both. But the thing is, there's not many tactics cards in this deck. His resources are mostly meant to pay for his ability, and then he can contribute for leadership stuff or paying for Gandalf. I added the Song of Kings in just because I had some games where Grimbeorn was piling up resources and didn't have too many things to spend them on. Okay, I got my Steward out. So really the play here is whether I want to King Under the Mountain early, or get a Dunedain Warning out early, or save up for something like Faramir. I think my play here is actually just going to be to get a Warning out, just as protection. Grimbeorn usually ends up with so many resources that I've started putting like defensive side attachments on this side and attacking here so I can easily keep track. Just a handy tip for those heroes that end up getting a ton of attachments. Alright, so we're against 2. Let's go ahead and quest for 5. That should be enough. Even if we take on a little bit of threat, that's okay. First card is Dark Black Woods. Okay. We break even. I could travel here. If I get an enemy, though, I'm going to be a little bit behind. And probably have to take like an undefended or something. But I think I'm just gonna take the risk. Because my threat is fairly low enough. If I get something with a high attack, then I could potentially cancel the Shadow with Balin. Let's see what happens. Travel, discard the top card of the deck. It is an enemy. Well, that sucks. But he does have... This is one of the stronger enemies in the deck. But he does have 36 engagement costs. I don't have to deal with him yet. Hopefully by the time I get to that threat, I'll be set up to deal with him. So we'll leave him there. We'll bring down the spider. We have to raise our threat by 1 because of this. Each player's threat, after an enemy engages a player, I have to raise my threat by 1. Let's go ahead and defend. This guy has 4 attack, and I have 4 defense. That's one of the objective locations. That's fine. That means I can get one early if I need to. I'll spend 1 from Grimbeorn, trigger his ability. And then that's gonna put, because he has 0 defense now, he's gonna put 3 damage, and then Haldan will go ahead and finish him off. The nice thing there is basically essentially if I didn't have Grimbeorn the Old's action advantage, I would have had to defend with him. And then Haldan would be the only attacker. With Grimbeorn there, I was able to deal some damage while he defended, and then Haldan finished him off. So dead enemy versus an alive enemy is a huge difference, especially in round 1 of a game. Ransom Man asking in the chat, I'm pretty rusty with this game, but maybe Errand Rider would be better than a song? Yeah, that's a good question. I thought about Errand Rider. I didn't include him just because I thought Steward was just going to sit on someone and I wouldn't be moving resources around a lot. Like if you get Song of Kings on Grimbeorn and Steward, then he could just sit on it. You wouldn't need to move it. But I'm not necessarily sold on that decision. I could go either way. Yeah, I guess that's the short answer to that question. Okay, let's see what we get. Okay, Armored Destrier, not bad at all. Have 5 leadership resources to work with here. I could get Faramir out if I need to do some questing. Could get King Under the Mountain out to do some digging. Looking at the quest points here. I think I'm gonna lean towards Faramir at this point. And then maybe get a Weather Hills Watchman out next turn and then do like a very good tail. Something like that. King is nice, but at this point I have good options that maybe it's better off just getting set up than getting the card draw going. That's kind of the decision you have to make early on. If you get King in your early hands, is how early you want to get it out. And I think my answer would be it kind of depends on the options in hand. If your options are good, then might as well get them out. If they're not, then start getting your card draw engine going so you can get some good stuff out. So 1, 2, 3, 4 for Faramir. We'll keep 1 for Balin Insurance, my favorite kind of insurance. And we're facing 3. So we'll send 3, we'll send 5. Haldan can, while there's an active location, doesn't exhaust the quest, which is handy. We're sending 7 to 3 with some Faramir insurance, my other favorite kind of insurance. Let's see. Okay, we got a bat. And we have to choose one character and remove that character. We'll remove Haldan. Doesn't matter too much. So we're making 5 to 4. And we can go ahead and exhaust Faramir. Although he could defend against the bats. Yeah, you know what? I'll just make 1 progress against Dark Black Woods. So if there was another location that popped out, I'd probably use Faramir to get rid of this so that I could travel to that location to prevent location lock. But in this case, it's an enemy. I'll keep Faramir around so he can defend, so I can... actually, though, I'm not taking this guy this turn. That's right. I forgot. Sorry. Take it all back. Let's just go ahead and clear it then. So there's 2 active questers, so we go up by 2, and we can clear out this whole thing. This Searching for the Way Out only triggers if progress would be placed on the main quest, not on the active location, so it doesn't go off right now. The bats will come down. We'll just go ahead and defend with Grimbeorn. Nothing. I'm not going to trigger his ability because I have Haldan here to kill the bats, and might as well not waste the resource. Next turn. Okay. Let's go ahead and put out Weatherhill's Watchman. Let's see if he is a whifferer or not. Search my top 5 for 1 signal card. Yep, that's a whiff. We have a whiff. Okay. That's okay. I have 6 copies of signals in the deck, in case you're wondering. So he whiffs. And with no active around, I think I can safely do use Faramir for a very good tail. And let's do that. Let's see how my luck is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ooh, so I lost 2 of my warnings, which is not great. That is the danger of a very good tailing. Yeah. That is potentially one of the worst results of a very good tail I could get. It's not the end of the world. I might be able to still... I should be able to still survive. It just means that the ceiling for Grimbeorn dropped from 7, which you can get to with 3 warnings and a hauberk of mail. Now it's dropped to 5 instead, because now he has 1 warning. He can get a hauberk. He's only going to get up to 5. So that's too bad, but I'll make do. So I can get Galadriel and the Guardian. Now, Galadriel's ability doesn't trigger, so she's not a very good trail draw, but whatevs. I can use her for a purpose. I mean, I could potentially engage this guy now and sacrifice her to an immediate attack. Something like that. Okay. Okay, Targ asking, is this quest stage the one that as you raise your threat for everything engages you? Yes. So I think I missed a bat, yeah? Good catch on that. Yeah, so that was the only one that I missed raising my threat on, I think, was the bat. Durin's father mentioning, wouldn't be a Teatime tale without some whiffing. So true, so true. That was a double whiffing in my book, because even though I got allies, I discarded 2 warnings and my Watchman whiffed, so yeah, that was a double whiffer there. Okay, well, I still have 3 resources, so I think I'm going to go ahead and put an Armored Destrier on, although I could search for some more signals, but I'm kind of bitter now about what just happened, so I'll hold off on that. Okay, and Galadriel's here obviously to help dig for some of those key attachments. That's another way that you can try to find your stewards if you don't find it, or King of the Mountain, that kind of thing. Okay, let's quest for 5 and 6. I'll send this guy. I'm not going to send Galadriel again, just in case I have some chumping plan I want to do. New channel name from Ransom Man is A Whiff of Tea. That's not bad. It's not bad at all. Okay, a Cursed Forest is 7. That's going to raise my threat up to... because I failed questing my 1. Oh boy, now the question is whether I want to reveal the top card of the encounter that could travel here. It's pretty high threat, so I'm going to say yeah. I think, again, because I have Galadriel, I have some insurance, so let's do it. Reveal top card is this guy. Yeesh. Well, that's 4 threat as well, and I'm going to go ahead and leave him there for a while. He has 40 engagement costs. So this again doesn't trigger because I didn't make progress, which is fine. I'm just kind of treading water at the moment. Okay, so just doing some math here. I can't quite kill this guy, but I can at least get him close to death. Yeah. Teatime fails, says Electron John. Ouch. Okay, let's bring this guy down. Yeah, I guess I might as well chump Galadriel. That's pretty disrespectful of the Queen Galadriel, but whatevs. Gets +2 attack and +2 if discarding a card. He is not. Galadriel is dead, or going to sleep, I like to say. Or Kitarg mentioning, I really like Ally Galadriel. She's very solid. Me too. I love that playing an attachment. Also helps you reorder the other cards that are on top of your deck. She soaks archery like a champ. You can chump her. Yeah. For decks that can afford her, it's great. Okay, so that was the immediate attack. It is now the combat phase. So, let's see. Just trying to figure out whether or not I should use Grimbeorn's ability. So that will lower the spider down. I'll do 2 damage. Halden will also be able to do 2 damage. If I don't use it and just attack 6 to 3, that's 3 damage. It's almost same difference. So I guess I can just save the resource. Defending player must choose and discard an attachment he controls. Ugh. I think I'm gonna Balin that. I don't want to lose either of those. Our first Balin insurance use. That's nothing. Yep, that's why I like having old Balin around. Underrated ability in my opinion. Okay, so no damage. Grimbeorn will ready with the Destry A, and he'll attack together with Halden, and that is 3 damage. It would have been 4 damage if I used his ability, but since I should be able to kill him with Grimbeorn next turn anyway, either way, then I might as well save the resource. Okay. Let us go. Next round. Okay. Dunedain Mark is good. I always spend from Sam before Balin just in case I need to use his ability. So let's move the horse over here. Let's do attack on this side, defense on that side. I think at this point I'm going to get the King of the Under the Mountain out. Get some options going. I could play this guy, but I don't think it's... I think at this point I've kind of played out the best options in my hand. I might as well get some more options. So draw 2, and I'm going to discard one of... actually, it's not drawing. It's looking at the top 2 and discarding one and adding one. But I essentially just draw them on Octagon. Okay. I think I'm going to discard Gandalf. I already had a Gandalf in hand, and the goal is really to get a sneak attack out to use them a few times. So we're going to go ahead and... I could put the bow on Grimbeorn for that extra point of damage. I also have some of these Dale attachments. I didn't mention this at all yet, but I put in the Guardian of Esgaroth in here. Because I was looking for some leadership allies on the cheaper end, and I figured Grimbeorn can only wear 1 hauberk. So if I have some extras that can go on this, you know, and he's only going to hold 1 bow. Essentially, his restricted attachments are the Destrier and the bow, and so any extras can go on the Guardian. So the question right now is to put it here, turn the Guardian into a more robust character, or put it on Grimbeorn. My first impulse was to go Grimbeorn, but I think I'm going to put it on this Guardian, actually. That should give me some flexibility, I think. So let's do that, even though I do like it on Grimbeorn. Electron John saying this is Grimbeorn's penumbra of stuff. Okay. Yeah, it pretty much is. Eventually, if things go well, it gets, and you don't discard 2 of your Dunedain warnings, he ends up with like 7 or 8 attachments, something crazy like that. Okay, so we'll quest for 5/7 to start. What is this? Has 4 quest points. I think I can quest with this guy for 9. Okay, each player discards each resource pool. Ooh, this is gonna be rough. I forgot this treachery was in here. That's bad. Okay, so I'm essentially gonna raise my threat by 4. And I'm gonna lose all my resources. Oof. Yeah, the only problem is this deck. Well, I wouldn't say the only problems, but the main danger for this deck against this quest is threading out at some point. So getting that treachery doesn't help. So I like to use my Gandalfs for card draw. In this case, I'm probably gonna have to exclusively use them for threat reducing. At this point, I'm already at 38. Okay. Well, I do enough to clear for... I do 1 extra, which will trigger. So 1 progress will be placed. If there are no objective locations in place, I'll discard an equal number from the top. Okay, that's that guy. Then I put the topmost in play, which was whatever that one I discarded earlier was, forest clearing. That is going to get guarded by an enemy. Let's see. Okay, we got a forest spider as the guard for that. That is going to come down. So fortunately I have a few allies here. And the destrier. Fortunately I didn't rise high enough that this guy would engage me. This ability would have triggered to guard this thing if it was free of encounters, but that's at the end of the encounter phase. By that point, this guy's already guarded. Okay, so he's going to come down. My threat goes up again. So I'm going to try to get out of this stage now, whenever I get a chance once this guy's dead. Okay, unfortunately I can't use Grimbeorn's ability, which sucks because my resources got discarded by something. So let's defend, and I don't have Ballin insurance either. He's not guarding any card. Luckily the shadow is on this one. Ready. And I'll discard the shadow with the destrier. So I know exactly what that's gonna be. That's gonna be a 4 attack. Let me just do some math to make sure I have enough to... 3, 4, 5. I'm gonna have enough to kill this guy, but not this guy. Okay, I'll just defend it then. So defended, and then 3, 4, 5 is enough to kill this spider with this guy sticking around. I guess I should have really killed this guy though, if I want to advance. Ooh, and I have to raise my threat by X for this thing. I might be in some threat trouble here. I might have to drop a Gandalf soon. Yeah. Okay, I guess I'll take it back. I'll kill this guy instead. This guy's at 3. So that I can go to this next turn. Okay. Keep him moving. Let's use our steward. Let's use our king under the mountain. Okay. Well, I do like the Knight of Dale, but I also get nervous. I don't want to discard another Hauberk, so let's we're gonna keep the Hauberk. That's on the defensive side, so Grimbeorn's at 5 defense now and 6 hit points. And should I save up for Gandalf? I might have to. I could do another Whiffman, but I think I'm gonna have to save for Gandalf at this point. Remember, I can't reduce my threat while I'm on this stage, so I'm gonna have to wait till next. Yeah, let's save for Gandalf, because I can't at this point wait around for sneak attack. So we're up against 4. This guy is gonna come down. Ooh boy. Yeah, that's a thing. Well, the good thing is I just boosted Grimbeorn's defense, so hopefully I'll be able to deal with that. So 4, let's go ahead and quest for 5, and I can boost with Faramir if I need to. Doomed 1. Yes, I needed that. Each player raise your threat by 1 for each ally you control. Ooh, or reveal an encounter card. I'm going to have to reveal an encounter card. Okay, that's an overgrown path. Guarded by a location. Well, that's a softball. I'll take that all day. Okay, so I break even, which is fine. I'll go ahead and travel here. Shuffle the discard pile into the encounter deck. In discard, please be a treachery. Big whiff, big whiff, big whiff, big whiff, big whiff, big whiff. No, that's 2. That's 2 threat after raised by. That's not the end of the world, but why can't the encounter deck ever whiff, huh? Yep, Vardane mentioning always clogs my toilet when I drop a Gandalf. Yeah, that 5 cost really has a tough time going down. Okay, so after we travel here, advance to the next stage C available, which would be 2C. Can I just say I love this mechanic? Of traveling to alternate stages depending on which one of these you get. It's one of the fun aspects I really like about this quest. Okay, so we're getting the Dol Guldur Orcs encounter set. Just make sure I shuffle the right one. I think it's this one with 14. Yep, those would be Dol Guldur Orcs. Move them, and then we got to reveal an encounter card, so things could get hairy here. Oh, you have to be kidding me. You have to be kidding me. Okay, I might just thread out then. That's something that's gonna happen. So go all the way up to 47 again. Wow. This is rough. Okay. I'm really gonna hope for sneak attack next turn, or I'm just gonna have to straight up drop hard cast, pay the 5 for a Gandalf, and hope I get another one soon, because even with a reduction of 5, I'm still in serious trouble here. Okay, the first orc enemy revealed each quest is going to get Surge, and when an orc attacks and damages a character, that character chooses and discards 1 card from hand. They're essentially robbing you, I guess? Hitting your hand? So this guy's going to come down. Unfortunately, the raising threat for each enemy isn't in effect anymore. Unfortunately, I am deprived of Balin and Grimbeorn's effects yet again. Okay. I'll defend the lower attack guy first, so I can discard the shadow from the higher attack guy. It's usually sensible policy. Okay. Ready. Discard. Defend. Nothing. Okay, now I'm trying to figure out how few people I can. I think I'm just gonna have to attack for the full assembly. That's 5 to 3 is enough to kill that guy. Finally, let's just go ahead and attack. I can't get through, but I can at least do 1 damage to the Mirkwood patrol. Okay, next round. That freaking treachery, man. I don't think I drew it in any of my testing so far, so I completely forgot about it. Okay, I'm going to have to hardcast Gandalf here. Because there's every chance that I could draw another copy of that treachery, or whatever the case may be. Okay, I already have Faramir, so let's get Rosie here. But I'm not going to be able to play her this turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Of course, that means I won't be able to use Grimbeorn's ability again. This is very atypical for this deck, I'll say. If there is a quest that drains your resources, like say Druidan Forest would probably be terrible for this deck, then you get in trouble. But usually that doesn't happen against most quests. Okay, so drop my threat down to 43. We're looking at 3 threat in the staging area. We can commit 5, 7 for sure. And do I want to hold Gandalf for combat? I kind of do. see, I'm sending 3, so I'd be able to send 10 to 3. I should send another one just in case. Let's send this guy just in case. 8 to 3 with another character that Faramir can boost. Okay, Force Gate, that's not bad. Let's go ahead and trigger Faramir. 1, 2, 3, 4 for another 4. That's 12 to 5 for a total of 7. It's enough to add this to the victory display. That is a forced location, so this guy gets 1 resource every time a force is explored, so it's now 4 threat. I do need to get rid of that, but it also raises my threat. Oof. And I do need to get a little bit faster about moving through these stages. So I think I'm gonna have to move to Old Forest Road first. That does ready 1 character. Oh yeah, so I could have quested with Gandalf. That's fine. And I forgot to trigger searching for a way out, so let's do that first. So I did 4 on this thing, and then I had 7 left over. So we discard. Oh wait, but there's 1 in play, so that doesn't trigger. Forget it. Okay, I'll ready. Who's the best one to ready here? I think I probably missed a Sam trigger or 2 on some enemies that I probably could have killed off sooner. I just realized that. Sam, it sounds sad, but Sam is kind of the he's not the focus of this deck necessarily, so sometimes I forget about his ability. He probably could have given me another 2 attack here and there, which could have killed the enemies. So, sad times. I made things harder for myself than I needed to. I'll just ready Sam, I guess. It really makes no difference. These guys are all 1 attack. Okay, this guy's going to attack. Nothing already. And I should have enough to annihilate this guy. That's 4, 6, 9, 12, 13. Some ungodly amount of damage. Yeah, he did. Okay, next turn. Gandalf goes away. Okay, let's steward up. Let's draw and see if we get some threat reduction. I love Ingold, but I'm really going to need to keep Sneak Attack and hope I get another Gandalf. Yeah. Ingold is great for questing. Usually all my heroes have at least 1 on him, so he's a 3 quester. But yeah, you got to do what you got to do when you get 2 treacheries in a row that hit you for a total of 8 threat. I'm not bitter. Let's do Galadriel, because she can hopefully help us get to Gandalf sooner. 1, 2, 3. She's going to search the top 5 cards of my deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's another whiff. I can put this on someone just to thin my deck out a bit. I can put that on Balin, I guess. Sam. No Balin. No Sam. Okay, I'll put it there. Okay. Well, there's no Gandalf around, so let's see. The question is what I want to discard, because I can discard one with... I think I'll discard a Very Good Tail. I don't see myself using that. So we'll put Gimli on top. We'll put these ones as the King Under the Mountain draw. Sounds good. If I can last long enough. Now I'm so scared of that treachery, so I would raise my threat by 2 if I keep these around, but I kind of need to. Okay. So a total of 6 threat in the staging area. Let's do 5, 7, 10. With about 4 more than I can add. That should be enough. Let's send this dude. Each non-objective location gets +1 threat. Okay. If the number is less than the number of players, it's not. So we're just gonna... That's fine. It's a whiffing treachery. That clears this out. I don't need a Faramir because there's no point in getting more progress, since this won't trigger, since there's an objective in play. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, I just need to check. Yeah, this is a forest, so this will get another. So this location is going to be a real problem for me. If I keep clearing forests, it's just going to become ungodly threats. I think I need to travel to it. It's going to raise my threat by 1. Might be the wrong decision, but I mean, almost everything is a forest. This thing is going to get to like 10 threat by the end. So let's travel here, and I just have to hope to get a Gandalf soon. And then I have to go to this one, and then I just got to book it through the quest as fast as possible. Okay, next round. Haldan doesn't exhaust, Vardain mentions. Did I do something wrong with exhausting him? I don't remember offhand. Galadriel's gone. Let's do our steward. Let's do our king draw, which we knew we were gonna get. Yeah, so I really need to spend my resources, is the lesson I've learned from that treachery against this quest. 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's spend Gimli. Vardain is saying, never mind, just a mistake with willpower count when it comes to Haldan exhausting. No problem. Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to go forth, and if I get hit by that treachery, that's pretty much all she wrote. There's not much more I can do. So we're up against 2. Let's go ahead and send 5, 7, 9, since Gimli can ready if an enemy is revealed. Send this guy for the heck of it. 10 to 2. Enchanted Stream, that's fine. It's just enough to clear this thing out. And then this assigns damage, which is, that's one of the things I like about this deck compared to my usual Spirit Tactics, is because it has leadership, that it has a lot of allies with quite a few hit points. And so you can soak up things like archery and direct damage. They're a bit hardier. Okay, discard top card of encounter deck. Treachery that time, so no damage. Now I advance to the next stage A, which would be 3A. Carried away. I think this is the first time I've gotten this one, actually. So I need to read this. Usually I end up getting the third stage 3 that takes its hand underneath it. Takes your hand underneath it, rather, and underneath a location. And then you have to rescue the cards. Each player chooses a hero, discard... Is this? Yeah. Discards each token and attachment and places it in the staging area. And then discard until... Oh, this does seem familiar. I believe this was in the Wizard's Quest. Until an enemy is discarded and attaches that enemy. Okay, so goes here. I'm going to choose Sam just because I can't choose either of the others. They're too integral. It hurts to lose the 3 willpower. A lot, actually, but that's just kind of what I have to do. Until an enemy is discarded. Okay, Dulgador Beastmaster. Each enemy cannot take non-combat damage. Each is... Okay, it's not under my control. When it's defeated, I return that hero exhausted. Okay, so if I kill it this turn, I get it back right away, right? That's not too bad. Electron John mentioning that Sam is the most travel-sized of the heroes. Easier to carry. Yeah, he's fun-sized. Okay, let's bring the guard down. This is our location. Okay, let's do this. Grimbeorn will defend. He gets another shadow card. Nothing. +1 attack, so he's 4 against my 5. That's fine. I'll just brush that off my shoulder, Luke Skywalker style. I don't need to use his ability here because I'll just ready him with Destrier. And then 3 and 6 and 8 is enough to kill that. Comes back under my control exhausted. No one better lay a finger on my Sam. He's back already. Okay. That wasn't too tough. Still worried about my threat. Still terrified of my threat, I should say. I'm glad I didn't get the one that took my hand, though, because then I'd be deprived of my sneak attack. So my decision to discard Gandalf earlier with King of the Mountain is rough on me now, because now there's only 1 copy in here out of 20 cards. So if I don't get them soon, that's all she wrote, pretty much. Yeah. Let's see if I can do it. Okay, let's drew next round. No Gandalf. Resource up. I'm at 47 threat now. I'll discard that Bow of You and just turn Grimbeorn to more of a machine. I mean, I could put it on... this is each different attachment, yeah. So let's go with the Mark. So Grimbeorn is 5 defense, 5 attack now. Not bad. Still doesn't reduce my threat, though. Let's do 1-2 for Rosie. Oh, I guess I could have done this guy plus a bow, but whatever. I like being hulked up Grimbeorn. Let's do another Weather Hills Watchman. I'm not even that concerned about getting another signal. I just want to thin out my deck a bit, really, is all I care about at this point. So it's top 5 cards. So I do get a Mark. And, yeah. I do get a Mark there. There's no Gandalfs there, so the nice thing here is I've at least shuffled my deck and given myself more of a chance of getting Gandalf soon. Let's put another... Oh, no, sorry, I'm not going to spend that. I'm going to save that for Balin. That Treachery might hit me, but whether it hits me for 2 or 3 isn't, doesn't really matter at this point. Yeah, okay, Targ. It's saying way to reverse psychology, him meaning the Watchman, into working. I found a way to turn my whiffing skills into a positive at this point. 5, 7, 9, 11. Should be enough. This freaking thing again, okay. That's enough to add it to the victory display. And let's go ahead and Faramir. Wait. Yeah. Is there an objective location here? I just want to see if I need to put more willpower into finding one. Yeah, I do. So I made 5 without Faramir. That would be 1 extra. Let's go ahead and we'll add Faramir's willpower. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that would be 5 added to the 1. So that's 6 cards to discard. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Nothing. Yeah, that's the other thing. I also have the threat ceiling of I need to get to the objective location before I threat out as well. So this is going to get a resource. I can't travel to it because it raises my threat. I'm going to go to the Forest Gate to try to draw cards. Draw 2 cards. Come on, Gandalf. Ah, no Gandalf yet. 14 cards left in my deck, and I can look at 3 next turn. Okay, next turn. 48 threat. I have another sneak attack. Steward up. Search for Gandalf. Ugh. Okay. Definitely gonna go Galadriel. Again, just trying to search the top 5 for that Gandalf. 1, 2, 3. Galadriel comes out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have to be kidding me. No Gandalfs. Yeah, I think I lost this quest, guys. Let's see, I can... Yeah, that's pretty much it, unfortunately. Because... yeah, there's just no way to do it at this point. Because I would see 3 next turn when I'll be at 49 threat. Ah, well, that's too bad. I think I really had to hang on this quest if it wasn't for those treacheries. Oh yeah, I can shuffle again with the Watchman. You're right. Okay, Targ. Good point. So that's pretty much my Hail Mary at that point. Yep. Okay, so let's do that and see what happens. I forgot what I was even doing at this point. Yeah, I can put a Song of Kings. I don't think that's gonna do much of anything at this point. Let's just go ahead and put a Hauberk on this guy. No, he can be Superman. Now has 3 will and 4 defense and a bow. Yeah, he's pretty solid. So these will go back. I could put them in order, but it doesn't matter because I'm gonna try to shuffle. I'm looking, but it doesn't matter because I already know there's not a signal there. Okay, and then we shuffle up. That's my last chance. Okay. I can get Bill out for free. Yeah, that's about it. Okay, so we're up against 6. Can send 5, 7, 10, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17. I'm just really trying to find that objective location. Oh, yep. That's all she wrote, unfortunately. Doomed 1. Ah! So frustrating, because look at this board state. I had it. I was so close. I think I'm probably going to give this one another try. Maybe with... not right now, because I'm running out of time. But I think I will play this one again, just because I'm left with that unsatisfying feeling that I know this deck was able to conquer this quest if it wasn't for those treachery draws and some... I mean, just think about how many chances I had to draw Gandalf. And he was the very next card, too. Can you believe that? He's the next card. That is the absolute, complete, and utter worst. That Gandalf was the next card. Wow. I mean, with the setup I had, I think I probably could have... maybe even won next round, or at least 2 more rounds. Yeah, that would have been enough to win for sure. With 2 sneak attacks, I would have been set. Wow. I mean, with as few cards as I had left in my deck, and the amount of chances I had to shuffle and reshuffle and search and just couldn't find Gandalf, that is cruel. Look at that. Think about what you did, Gandalf. I'm putting you in the shame corner, which is like down here under the bridge or something. Well, what to say about this deck? Disappointed, obviously, but I think this is just one of those cases where you get a bad run of luck. Honestly, don't think it says too much about the deck itself, because other than that, this deck was comfortable. And even the threat gain, like the sneak attack and Gandalfs are usually good enough. I'm usually sneaking and playing Gandalf at least like 3 times a game, which is, you figure, 15 threat reduction worth if you need it. I mean, that's like a lore Aragorn. Yeah, it was just a really, really, really bad set of circumstances. With the board state I had, I mean, combat was taken care of. I had a beefy Guardian here. I had tons of combat capability between Grimbeorn and Gimli and this guy here. Faramir had questing covered. I was probably going to get up into the 20 or 30 range. So, yeah, was unfortunate. Maybe my only mistake was discarding that Gandalf. I can't even remember what card I chose instead. I think it was important at the time. But if I would have had 2 Gandalfs in my deck, then I would have been in business. But again, it's just a tough chain of cards that you can't really do much about sometimes. So, and so here you can see I have 9 cards, well 10 cards left in my deck with Gandalf back in your shame corner. Yeah, that's about typical. That's what I was mentioning, that this deck you usually get to almost decking out, which is good for a leadership deck. So altogether, I like the deck. It works well. It has a good balance of combat and defense. Grimbeorn really helps you out in the early game. I mean, I can't even overstate it. It's a huge help having that action advantage in combat early on, that he can defend for you and kill back. And that lets you get your board state set up. So by the time you get to the end, Grimbeorn is a huge defender, but you're not even necessarily using his ability that much, because you can keep redding him with his horse. And at that point, you're really just able to kill everything once you have your other kind of allies on the board to help you out. And the variety of fetch effects, they may whiff, especially if you're playing on stream, but they help you get through your deck quicker as well. So I'm trying to think of if there's anything I would want to change, really. Let me see. Vardane saying I should get back to work. Yeah, see you, Vardane. Like John mentioning rough draws, good game anyway. Yeah, I'm so tempted to do this one again because I'm unsatisfied now. Duran's father, still an enjoyable stream. Glad to have you back. Yeah, glad to be back. It was a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to playing more regularly again. Changes to the deck. I mean, I made some tweaks. I really like the loadout so far. Even people like the Watchmen, I think, are sneaky good sometimes. Just that ability to more quickly get these out. So I wouldn't replace him. Galadriel pulls weight as well. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really... Remembering Sam's triggers would be nice, I think. I didn't use Bjorn's Rage, but that's useful in the early game before you get buffed. Yeah, you can go ahead and find the deck on RingsDB, and maybe you can give me some suggestions that I haven't thought of. The name of the deck is Pay the Troll Toll. The Always Sunny fans will get the reference. Basically, it came to mind because this is a deck that has lots of resources, that pays for stuff, and the Bjornings were known for charging high tolls in an area where there was trolls. It's a bit of a reach. I'm reaching a little far, but I'll take it. So find Pay the Troll Toll on RingsDB, give it a like, and give it some suggestions if you see anything that should be changed. All right. Oh, last thing. Okay, Targ mentioning, I wonder if a single Legolas wouldn't be horrible. You can very good tail him in or use Grimbeorn, as he seemed to stack up. Yeah, that's not a bad shout. Yeah, card Legolas for more attack and card draw. I wouldn't mind that. I might give that a go. All right, thanks for joining me. I'll see you next time. Again, I'll probably be back next week with streaming the digital game, giving that a try, and maybe giving this one another go with this deck in this quest, so I can have vengeance and satisfaction. So I'll see you next time. Stay in your shame corner, Gandalf. Have a good one.